Tonight, more questions emerge about SML's 3 billion CD revenue savings scandal as GRA's intervention throws up more contradictions.
What we did was not even the accurate figure because they're not GRA.
That's 3 billion. That's what I told you from the beginning. I said I don't know about this 3 billion.
We can confidently say that there has been an average monthly increase of 100 million litres. So if you multiply it by 24 months, that will arrive at the 3 billion that we talked about.
We have the latest as the GRA confirms a directive from the Finance Ministry for SML's contract in the downstream petroleum sector to be expanded to cover the upstream and mining sectors.
This is Top Story with Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone. Tonight, more questions are emerging about the Strategic Mobilization Limited SML's 3 billion CD revenue savings scandal after the Ghana Revenue Authority intervened, throwing up more questions. The GRA is dismissing claims that the company's operations have not yielded revenue savings in excess of 3 billion cedis. A documentary titled The 3 Billion CD Lie by the Fourth Estate alleges that the Finance Ministry had ordered the expansion of the SML contract for the next 10 years, which they estimated could make the company $100 million annually. The investigations alleged this expansion was directed despite the company making false claims regarding how much it had saved the country through revenue assurance in the downstream sector. Well, today the GRA in a statement backed the revenue saving claims, insisting the contract expansion is for 5 and not 10 years. My colleague Samuel Mbura is with me in the studio. Samuel, break this down for us. What is the background to this issue between SML, of course, and the GRA with the Finance Ministry's own directive lately?
Well, Evan, so the contract is actually in 3 parts. One was supposed to start in 2019, which is the downstream petroleum sector. Another one, which is the upstream petroleum production, is supposed to also kickstart in 2023, same as the minerals and metals resources value chain 2023. Now, GRA says that the new and consolidated contract, which is for a term, is for a term of 5 years, not 10 years, as published by the Fourth Estate. And he says that, or GRA says that, this was agreed upon on the performance of SML in monitoring the downstream petroleum sector and the provision of instant reconciliation of real-time data in the sector.
Now, they talk about performance. They've been assessing SML's performance in the statement that they released. What have they been saying about it?
Well, the GRA is claiming that prior to the agreement with SML, their system was manually operated for the measurement of fuels in the various depots. According to the GRA, they were using the dipsticks for measurement, which was archaic and posed a risk to officers who climbed the ladder to measure the fuel in the tankers. It was also inefficient, according to the GRA, and prone to revenue leakages. The GRA further notes that the current oil deposited by the bulk oil distribution companies in the depots is measured by SML with the aid of sensors installed on the depot. So these sensors are called the red flow meters. During offloading from the depots, SML again measures all the various liftings of the oil marketing company. So these are some of the performances that the company, the GRA, has been making about SML. It goes further to say that all these pieces of information are captured and reconciled with data from the ICOMs. This is done with the GRA Petroleum Unit, and if there are discrepancies, the customs inform the oil marketing companies to enter a post-entry to correct these differences. Evans, according to GRA, SML in the petroleum sector also provides additional data independent of the customs ICOMs data capable of validating anomalies in quantities imported, discharged, and accounted for by way of taxes. The 4 point the GRA is making is that the revenue assurance exercise undertaken by EY Ghana and later by the Revenue Assurance and Compliance Enforcement of the Ministry of Finance confirmed systematic deficiencies in the accounting and collection of petroleum taxes between 2015 and 2020. The GRA stresses that the mode of transmission of data from various sources and systems was fraught with inconsistencies, resulting in loss of revenue. Extensive reconciliation had also been done on the various platforms and institutions within the petroleum downstream value chain to collect revenue that would have otherwise been lost. The final assessment of SML's work on their performance,
and that's where they address this 3 billion CD claim.
Exactly, Evans. So GRA says that the work of SML over the period has led to a significant increase in the figures reported in the downstream petroleum sector, from an average of 350 million litres per month in 2018 and 2019 to 450 million litres per month from 2020 to 2021. The GRA says that this represents over a 33% increase in volumes reporting and an average of an extra 100 million litres per month at a levy rate of 1 CD 44 pesos. The extra revenue variance gained for the 2 years will exceed 3 billion cedis. This performance is attributable mainly to the introduction of ICOMS and the SML systems.
Okay, so that's the GRA there backing that earlier claim that had been made and was captured on the SML website. But remember, a few issues come up once you listen and read the GRA statement, because the managing director, the MD of SML, when confronted with these numbers, denied that they actually make the savings amounting to 3 billion. And Mensah and Co. put that to the MD and Mrs. Soti at the time, and he was categorical that they have nothing to do with the 3 billion. They don't know about the 3 billion, and that what they save can be 3 billion.
Yeah. That's why that 3 billion, I'm not. That's why I told you from the beginning. I said I don't know about this 3 billion.
We cannot say your intervention saved 3 billion.
No, I said 3 billion. I'm not. I've told you that I'm not aware, because when we were told about the publication, we even called it.
As we speak this morning, it's still on your website.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To be honest, I don't even know website matter.
And then yesterday, you were at the SML premises. The Prince Sapon, who is the head of IT, then contradicts his boss, who had made these pronouncements earlier in an interview with Mensah and team, now saying, well, I can prove to you that we saved the state 3 billion.
Evans, that was the interesting twist. I actually posed that question to him, and what he told us was that from the start of operations of SML since 2019, he can confidently say that they have saved 3 billion cedis in their operations.
So in estimate, what actually happened with the 3 billion is, as I talked about, the money is all about the volumes. So if there's an increase in volume, there's an increase in revenue. And since SML started operation, we can confidently say that there has been an average monthly increase of 100 million litres. So if you multiply it by 24 months, with the tax component that we are not even using the 1.74, we are using the old tax component, which is 1.44, that will arrive at the 3 billion that we talked about.
But since yesterday, another video has now emerged that, again, in which we see this same head of IT also siding with his boss before he came to contradict him yesterday. That, listen, yeah, we haven't said anywhere that we've saved 3 billion.
Exactly. So this video was secured from the Fourth Estate at the time they were conducting the investigation. When the question was posed to the boss and he was struggling to answer, this head of IT, Prince Sapon, came to explain that he never made any comment that triggered a report by the media that they are saving 3 billion cedis.
It's that publication that came out. It was not really the reporter that said the
one who protested, but they should
not protested. So if you look at that publication, it was just consultation between SML and GRA. And we're doing a presentation. So let me, we are doing a presentation, we're talking about accuracy. In that report, we never said that we are giving accurate revenue distance. The whole report, if you look at it, was a consultation, it was a collaboration between GRA board when they came to our outfit and SML. So in that presentation, journalists were here, I did the presentation. So in that presentation, I was giving them expected revenue. That was what I was giving them. It was expected revenue. That is what the last presentation I did per our audit system. Our system can generate expected revenue. So what we did was not even the accurate figure. We never talked about accuracy because we are not GRA. Only GRA can give you accurate figure. So when we are talking about this, it depends on how it was reported. So it didn't. No one actually said that we actually generated as like accurate. Yes. So there's a caption by a journalist.
The problem is that the journalist made a mistake. It is also on your website even this morning as we speak. And this has been there since February. So if the journalist does a mistake and then reports something I did not say, and I go to put that same thing on my website.
Please. But please, when, after that's the caption, have you read the story?
Yes.
And what?
And let's return to the GRA statement today. We know that when Mensah and Co did this work, they did it together with the GRA. In fact, at the point when they went to the SML offices, they went with the GRA. They had actually spoken to GRA customs officers on this. What is it that they were told from the documentary that we've watched from the GRA themselves?
Well, Mensah was asking about whether they use the US ML data for their revenue calculation or not, and the officer in charge, who was actually part of the technical team, Samuel Arthur, explained that that is not the data they use.
It has been the way-bill figure, which is meters, the volume that is being dispensed from the meters. That is the volume we use for tax purposes, switch meters. That is the gantry meters.
I want to bring in Manasseh Zuriawuni into the conversation. He's joining us on the line now. Manasseh, so we've heard from the GRA now. They affirm that, yes, SML's work saves the state in actually more than 3 billion cedis. What do you say to that?
Well, Evans, you have seen the contradictions from these officials. One thing that is yet to be added was that when these SML officials were denying that they ever saved the nation this amount, the GRA officials that we went with, and at every point that we were with SML, there were GRA officials from the petroleum sector. They also said that they were so surprised when they saw the publication that SML saved 3 billion cedis. We took delivery of the revenue from the GRA, from the petroleum sector, from 2012 to 2022. And in each of the years, the revenue was growing. So there isn't any significant change when SML came in. And one Samson Enim, who spoke in that documentary, he is the head of petroleum at the GRA, and he says in this documentary that what helped them to be able to get correct revenues are the figures they get through the ERGMS. That the ERGMS is connected to the ICOM, that's the customs system. Now the question is, who runs the ERGMS? It is not SML. It is the National Petroleum Authority that runs the ERGMS. So if you look at these explanations that are coming and you compare it with what GRA officials from the petroleum sector, we spoke to at least 3 of them who voluntarily gave information on the operations at the sector, you would realize that there are so many contradictions. Even at the depots, the GRA official we spoke to said that without the systems, that's where SML operates. And this person says, even without the system, it is almost impossible. This is what her words. It is almost impossible to lose product at the depots. And that's where SML works. The problems that GRA and NPA and other authorities were grappling with were what happened when the petroleum product was lifted from the loading gantries, and there were diversions, there were dilutions, there were under the declaration, there are people who would take it and then not pay taxes. And all the companies that are working to scam this, SML doesn't play any role in that part. So when you listen to what their officials said voluntarily in that documentary, you will come to a single conclusion that there are so many contradictions after the operations of this company was really exposed.
Let me also ask you about the contract, because the GRA today says in the statement that, quote, by implication, if there is no value addition, SML is not paid. And they describe this as a risk-reward contract. And I'm talking about the contract that has been extended based on the Finance Ministry's directive. What did you find?
Evans Mensah, if you ever get to interview any GRA official or any Ministry of Finance official who is defending this contract, just ask them the simple question: what value addition is SML Ghana bringing to the upstream petroleum sector? What value addition is SML Ghana bringing to the gold production sector? SML Ghana is not going to be paid based on value addition. The contract is clear, and I'm sharing copies of the contract on my Facebook page. And I've sent some to you. You can publish them on my Joy Online. The contract says they are going to be paid $0.75 per barrel of oil that is produced. So as long as there is production and as long as SML claims to be monitoring, they are going to take money. They will only not make money when gold production stops or when oil production stops. The 160,000 to 170,000 barrels of fuel that we produce every day, SML, if they start this project, are going to make $120,000 US. That is the $0.75 per barrel. If you go to the gold sector, they are going to make 0.75% of total production that they will claim to monitor. It has nothing to do with value addition. So that press statement by the the Ghana Revenue Authority, I'll be grateful if you ever send reporters there to interview them and let them tell Ghanaians that what value addition in the downstream sector where SML currently operates, every liter of petroleum product that flows through or that is lifted, they have 5 pesos that they take. And that's a contract that gives them about 24 million Ghana cedis every month. It has nothing to do with value addition. It only has to do with the product flowing through. And SML does not increase their volumes. I have told you revenue figures that we obtained from the GRA shows that from 2012 to 2022, every single year, there was an increment, even without SML coming in. So it isn't true that this company is going to add, that they are going to be paid based on value addition.
And also
Once
the GRA
produces,
also the GRA today in the statement says that you have said the contract is for 10 years. They say it's not 10, it's 5.
Yes, we saw some documents which I'm also sharing. I think page 13 of the 54-page contract mentioned 10 years. If they have reviewed 8 to 5 years, we requested documents officially from them. They have not responded to us. But if they have reviewed it, it doesn't change the fact that for the next 5 years, SML will be making more than $100 million US from this contract. And we have stated how we came by this calculation. They have not, both the SML and also in the GRA press statement, challenged the fact that this company will be making over $100 million US. And we are also even learning that they are doing some price verification and then some price audit also at the ports. So what we are looking at, this company may actually be making far more than we have so far started. And if you go to the website of the SML, before these two new contracts came, we have external price verification and also some auditing that they claim to be doing at the port. So, Evans, this is worse than perhaps we think.
Manasseh, stay with me. Let me bring in Kwame Jantua, who is an energy analyst also. I've been looking at the documents. Mr. Jantua, thank you for your time here on Top Story. You've seen the GRA statement. You've seen the evidence produced by the Fourth Estate. Where do you stand on this?
Evans, thank you, and good evening to your listeners. Evans, let me ask the question. Do you really think the regulatory bodies, NPA, BOSS, all those people are sitting doing absolutely nothing? Is that what they're trying to tell us? That those people who have the capacity and given the responsibility to regulate, they've done absolutely nothing? That they're telling us that they brought in what? Meters and all that, and MPA are sitting. They've done absolutely nothing about it. Why is it that from the word go, if the Ministry of Finance found that there was a challenge with the taxes, with refined petroleum products, strategies, why didn't they first go to the MPA to ask them? Guys, this is what we've identified. GRA are saying XYZ. What is it that we can do to strengthen what you're doing to make it possible? But they rather brought another company in. Number two, why isn't the finance minister saying anything? Why is he silent?
Well, the GRA is an agency under the finance ministry. So if the GRA has spoken, isn't it the finance ministry directly?
No. I don't buy that. Who gave them the contract? Was it GRA who gave them the contract? GRA is party to the contract, but the institution that gave them the contract was the Ministry of Finance. It wasn't the GRA. Look, all this type of covering for this one, time for that one, they should drop it, because if you go on the street and you ask Ghanaians today, they will say this particular deal is wrong. They should stop it. You're trying to tell me the regulatory companies are they're not doing any work. You know what you're trying to tell me? Well, I find it so difficult, Aaron.
Let me bring in the ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee, John Junapo, who has also been studying the GRA statement today. Mr. Junapo, we've asked earlier for a probe into this. You've actually suggested parliamentary probe. Then we saw the petition to the OSP. Haven't seen now the GRA statement. Do you think that is still necessary?
It even worsens the situation. Indeed, it exacerbates the situation, and it even reinforces and strengthens my call for an abrogation of the contract. First of all, the GRA should tell us why SML. What are their core competences? What makes them so unique and so special that despite all the measures MPA has put in place and linking that system with ICOMS, GRA still believes that they have to go and put a dipstick to check the volume of petroleum products in the tanks. I mean, this is so mind-boggling.
But the justification there, I see there's a line in there in the statement that says they're using cutting-edge technology.
And I'm telling you that the MPA told the whole Mines and Energy Committee that they have a superior technology, and their technology today can deal with this situation. So the next question is that did GRA confer with NPA? Was there a study? Was there a report that shows that NPA lacks the capacity? That's the first thing every serious government does. You conduct a situational analysis and generate a report that says that there are these losses, NPA doesn't have the capacity, you believe that you cannot depend on NPA, and so you outsource. And this is the criteria for outsourcing. You invite companies to bring their bids in terms of expression of interest, you winnow down and get the best candidate. This is not rocket science. This is not rocket science. Moreover, how much have they paid so far to this company? They don't want to disclose that. And they are quoting some bogus revenue figures.
How do you come to the conclusion that it's bogus?
I've been checking the 2021 budget, 2022 budget, 2023 budget, and checking the outends. I can tell you, for instance, in 2022, They budgeted to collect 80 billion. They ended with 69 billion. And they budgeted with the 80 billion because they believe that these systems will help them. What they do is that media, they deliberately come and lower the threshold. And so it's bogus. Moreover, in any serious jurisdiction, when you increase taxes and introduce a plethora of taxes, such as financial sector levy, pollution levy, energy sector levy, all kinds of levies that they introduce, the tax revenue will go up. They're not just normal.
But they also talk about increasing volumes, right? 350 million liters per month in 2018 and 2019 to 450 million liters per month.
Who are the culprits?
And they attribute that to SML.
So you discount the normal volumetric increase on a yearly basis first, because our consumption has always been increasing. And two, I said that you do a situational analysis with the MPA first. And that's what I think Parliament should demand for. That where is the report? That's what every serious government does. You just don't get up and do soul sourcing and go and pick SML. Why SML? What is so special about SML? What is their track record? What have they done before? What is their line of business? Those are the questions we ought to be probing as members of Parliament, so that there will be value for money. And now you are extending it to the oil sector. Recently, when we raised issue with the oil sector, they said they had flow meters. They themselves, this same GRA, told us that they had enough flow meters and that there were no issues. And yet you are going to give this to them and they will take $0.75 a barrel. We do about 55 million barrels. When you multiply that, if you have to do each barrel, because what they have to ensure is that all the companies, their barrel is well accounted for. This company could be working away with $38 million per annum. In the mineral sector, they could be working away with another $50 million per annum. So I even think the fourth estate were charitable. They were charitable. They decided to give a conservative figure. This contract, by all intents and purposes, whether you fry it, whether you cook it, whether you pan it, it's a bad contract, it's inimical, it doesn't add any value, and I hold the view that this contract, if allowed to continue, would only enrich the pockets of some few greedy individuals. It must be abolished without delay.
Mr. Jinapo, thank you very much. Kwame Janto, I'm grateful that you joined me. Manasseh, do you have any update from the OSP?
Well, Evans, we have no update from the OSP for now, but I hope and the information we have is that the OSP will act on this and we will hear what the OSP intends to do. But for now, there isn't, nobody has been invited yet. I last checked.
Manasseh, thank you very much. That's Manasseh Zuriawuni. He, together with his colleagues at Fourth Estate, brought to us this investigation, which today has triggered the extensive response from the Ghana Revenue Authority. Their response is on myjoyonline.com. Read it and make up your own mind. This is Top Story. Newsnight starts now.
Live on Joy 99.7 FM, this is Newsnight. Nominee to the Supreme Court, Justice Henry Anthony Kofi, refutes claims President Akufo-Addo has packed the Supreme Court while arguing that the perception of political judgments are not real. Details from his vetting as he recommends severe punishment for persons who engage in illegal mining.
I don't think 15 is a high number. The Honourable Member has actually set out some of the jurisdictions of the Supreme Court. Very wide jurisdiction.
Another nominee, Yawa Saridako, insists corruption in the judiciary is more of a perception than a reality.
Is that the perception appears to be fueled by a number of factors. And some of the factors appear to be the fact that a lot of people don't understand the way the law works.
We have all you missed from today's vetting as MPs battle it out over which law school group has produced the most prominent persons.
The class of 88. I am saying without fear of contradiction that we are the best class ever.
1978 core. I'm 45 years at the bar. He's 35. I'm 10 years ahead of him. And we have a record.
But do these judges and our MPs know about the concept of Gen Z?
Are you familiar with the Gen Z? The what? Exactly. That was the point of my question. Gen Z. I can't get the pronunciation good. Gen Z. No, I don't know what. You do not know Gen Z.
Stay with me for details of that. Also, Electoral Commission hits back at critics, insisting that organizing district-level elections is more complex, but assures that tomorrow's process in parts of the Ashanti and Eastern regions will be smooth.
Running elections, especially the district-level elections, is so different, it's more complex. Features are so different from that of the presidential and the parliamentary. Come tomorrow, there are ballots, they will be able to vote from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Meanwhile, the EC's decision to scrap the use of indelible ink sparks debate in Parliament. We hear some of the forceful argument about breaches of the 1992 Constitution.
The issue of the non-use of the indelible ink breaches the law.
One of the evidence should be your fingertip, which you might have dipped into the indelible ink. It should not rest on hearsay.
And in business, industry sector's contraction slows economic growth to 2% for the third quarter of this year.
And in sports, you have no choice but to release players for the AFCON, Chris Hughton tells European clubs.
Feliz Navidad. An unforgettable Christmas treat awaits everyone. The assurance from Programs Manager of Joy FM to the thousands of families heading to the Abri Botanical Gardens for the Joy FM family party in the park.
Our Daddy's Corner is coming back with a bang. The artists are ready. Ifia, we have Kwabna, we have Kwampa, and loads of other surprise acts.
That and more in this evening's edition of Newsnight. Do well to join us with your thoughts and comments via WhatsApp 055-111-997. You're watching live on Facebook, also social media platforms, tweet at us, or send us a message with the hashtag Newsnight. I am Emefa Apawu.
And my name is Evans Mensah. Details after this.
Of late, things no easy, crowd. For my business inside, pressure day from customers. If I make payments, give suppliers, Okada riders, delivery charges, no easy. Things no they move fast like before, because everything make expensive. The family where they house, see what are they talk? Family where they call, they ask for another money. No easy. Vodafone Cash be the only thing where they make my ID get to. If I they do transfers for Vodafone Cash, it they save me money. If you they do Vodafone Cash to Vodafone Cash transactions, still no transfer charges dey. Even if I they send money to another network, I they get value.
Make you dial *110# to send money. Sending money from Vodafone Cash to Vodafone Cash still be free.
Vodafone. Ready? Let's go. We all go bring some savannah.
Everyone is dancing, everyone is singing, because everyone is painting with Savannah. Savannah paints from Azar are affordable enough for everybody to fulfill their paint needs. Paint more, pay less. Savannah paint, we all go paint some.
We all go paint some Savannah. We all go paint some.
It's raining beautiful goodies at Maidan Home Deco this Christmas.
Joy to the world.
Our stores are wide open and ready to treat you this Yuletide. Maidan Home Deco has all the essentials to decorate your home. Christmas decorations, throw pillows, vases, photo frames, and many more. We assist clients create their personal and corporate hampers with our exquisite gift items. Your bedrooms will come alive with our high-quality bed and bath products made of 100% Egyptian cotton. Our international brands such as Canon, Fieldcrest, Waverly are leaders in offering the most comfortable pillows, towels, bed-in-a-bag, duvets in amazing colors and textures. It's a good time of year to give your home a facelift. Maidan is ready to give your home a simple yet trendy look. Look out for us in Accra, Junction, Achimota, and West Hills Mall. Follow us on Instagram. Maidan Home Deco. We bring quality and comfort to your home.
Before Ogun, the god of fire, I stand on oath.
By popular demand.
You force words from me again? You beg Sarah!
The biggest play in the history of African theatre is back.
Odewale.
The gods are not to blame.
We sent you all the way to Ileife to bring us greetings from Ifa. All right, we greet Ifati. Thank you.
Monday 18th, Tuesday 19th, and Wednesday 20th December at the National Theatre at 7 p.m. each night. Yes, for 3 nights only. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see Olarotimi's classic tale of fate, The Gods Are Not to Blame, for the last time in 2023 at the National Theatre. Tickets are selling now for only 150 cedis at www.imagebureaugh.com or dial *711*11*25#. Supported by Joy FM and proudly brought to you by Image Bureau in partnership with April Communications and the National Theatre.
Thanks for staying with us here on Newsnight. Let's start off from Parliament and bring you updates on all that you missed during the Appointments Committee vetting of Supreme Court nominees Justice Yao Asare Darko. There was also Richard J. Frimpong, that's Justice Richard J. Frimpong, and also Henry Anthony Kwofi today. They all appeared before the Appointments Committee. We'll start off with Yao Asare Darko, and he says corruption in the judiciary is more of a perception than a reality. Responding to questions of MPs at the Appointments Committee, Justice Darko admitted though there are persons who peddle influence in the corridors of the court, claiming to be able to influence judges and swindling and suspecting public of their money, it is not really a reality.
Is that the perception appears to be fueled by a number of factors, and some of the factors appear to be the fact that a lot of people don't understand the way the law works. That is the simple truth. You see, law is very difficult, and people sometimes they lose cases not because the judge is corrupt, but maybe because of bad lawyering, or because they did not understand the procedure. I remember when I was in practice, with Mr. Chairman's kind permission, if I can say this. When I was in practice, I was consulted by vessel owners outside the country who wanted me to arrest a vessel in Ghana based on a certain claim that they thought they had. When they brought the documentations, I advised them that this claim that you have can be pursued in England, but in Ghana, our laws will not allow you to go to court and pursue this particular claim based on the way you framed it. I didn't hear from them. I think after 2 weeks, they called me, they sent me a message that they've contacted a first-class maritime lawyer who has assured them that the claim can be pursued in Ghana. So I left the matter. After some time, I heard that that claim eventually ended up at the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court struck out the claim that it was incompetent because it could not be pursued in Ghana. I happened to meet one of the white men at an occasion somewhere, and then I asked, well, what happened to your case? And so don't mind your corrupt judges. The lawyer went and gave them money. And I was shocked. I was shocked because the claim was bad. And I was shocked that he could say that some lawyer went to give 5 Supreme Court judges bribe in order to do this. I was shocked. So there's always this idea that people don't understand why they lose cases. And beyond that, there's an industry that legs around the judiciary. People have made it their lifestyle, where they will come and say that, give me money, let me go to and give it to the judge. It is a reality. We can't dispute that. It is their lifestyle. It is their livelihood. So it makes this whole idea of tagging the judiciary being a corrupt institution.
Well, Kwekwa Sante is our parliamentary affairs correspondent. He sat through the vetting and will take us through all that we missed. So, Kweku, let's start off with the concerns that were raised by the minority chief whip. He had concerns about the Supreme Court judgment on the birth certificate case. Let's start with that.
Yes, Emefa Government Kwame Agboja has made it one of his missions at the appointment committee whenever they have had to deal with judges to raise concerns about the Supreme Court ruling in that NBC matter, challenging the EC's decision to expand the birth certificate as a registration detail. He said that judgment was completely erroneous, and he was speaking after asking one of the judges about this ruling, and the judges defended the Supreme Court ruling, but he was not convinced.
My mother is Akosua Akamenku, all of Ghana. What else why should anybody question my nationality beyond this? and you said you've read it. I'm not a lawyer, I read a bit, but as a matter of fact, there's nothing in that judgment that I read that actually says Article 6.2 should be interpreted in any other way.
I think that maybe if you want us to have a discussion on this, we can have it after. But I can prove to you that the perception you have about that judgment may not be necessarily right. I'm sorry. That is my humble view. Mr. Chairman, I don't know whether I can answer it that way. That is my very humble view.
That is all. But for me, as a person, this judgment is the first time I've questioned the reasoning behind some judges. It leads me to think, what about the other judgments? Is it not based on the same perception or view of the judge? Because I've read just as an English, somebody who's writes and speaks English. I don't know if there could be any other interpretation of Article 6.2 than what is written here, that subject to the provisions of this Constitution, a person born, the only way you can prove where, when, and your parent when you are born is birth certificate, nothing else. Or reported, or somebody can report it in this country. Birth certificate, that is why it's called birth certificate. So if you're telling me that if somebody doesn't have birth certificate, on his birth certificate is written, or the nationality of the parents are not written, you can say that it is not conclusive the person is a Ghanaian.
Well, Kweku, I know there were funny moments in all the vetting, but let's turn our attention to Justice Richard Ejay Frimpong now. He raised concerns about funding to the Legal Aid Commission.
Yes, Justice Ejay Frimpong used to work at the Legal Aid Commission before he joined the bench. And his concern is that successive governments have not done enough to fund the commission, and that is why the poor are struggling to have access to justice.
It's expensive these days, and I think that is where we need to look at other areas where those who cannot afford can go and then seek some assistance. And therefore, the Legal Aid Commission becomes a department or an institution of some importance. And we ask ourselves whether over the years the Legal Aid Commission has been resourced enough. I would answer no. I remember when I was in Takoradi and I was sitting on this popular case called the Takoradi Girls. At a point we wanted to fast track the trial because of the sensitive nature of the matter. And at a point in time, I virtually went to the legal aid director to beg for him to find money and pay the lawyers. Because the lawyers were not coming, who were defending the accused persons, were not coming to have the matter heard. And so that tells you how serious the matter is. There are other areas that we can consider to aid justice delivery. These days we have a lot of courts available, and I think the system is doing better. What we may have to do is to, as much as possible, make our processes litigation friendly so that people can access. We can also look at ADR. That is another avenue by which justice can be assessed at a cheaper rate, because at ADR, at the very beginning of the litigation, there is an option to go and settle. Honorable.
Well, Kweku, let's focus now on Justice Henry Anthony Kofi. He's fighting claims there are too many judges at the Apex Court.
Yes, the minority have been making this consistent claim that the President Akufo-Addo is seeking to pack the courts with NPP-aligned judges. He, President Akufo-Addo, has nominated 18 judges to the Supreme Court with these 3 new nominations that he has made. But Justice Anthony Kofi says the job of the Supreme Court is heavy, and that there are a number of judges that are needed to be able to do a successful job, and that is why the current number of 15, for instance, is not on the high side.
I don't think 15 is a high number. The honorable member has actually set out some of the jurisdictions of the Supreme Court. Very wide jurisdiction. Sometimes people just say, oh, even the US, they have 9. Why do we have 12? Why do we have 15 and 16? We compare different things from different environments, different systems. Last week, and I can say this, I was trying to call a Supreme Court judge on phone. When she eventually picked the call, called at 5:30, he said, "My Lord, I saw your call, but we've been sitting from 9 o'clock to 4:30. We had 29 cases." That's at the Supreme Court, not a High Court, not at the Court of Appeal. And if you look at the 12 that we have now, there are actually 2 panels, only 5. There are only 2 judges extra left. The Supreme Court sits 5. If they are dealing with a constitutional matter, 7. So with the 12, we actually have only 1 panel, 5 more. So the 15 is clearly, as far as I'm concerned, I don't understand what is meant by packing.
So, Kweku, whilst we know that Supreme Court judges do not preside over trials concerning offences of illegal mining, Justice Kofi has an opinion.
Supreme Court and other judges, particularly the judges who engage in trial, the High Court, must be seen to be offering very stiff punishment for persons who engage in illegal mining in Galamsey.
At the Supreme Court, the question of trial of Galamsey cases doesn't arise because the Supreme Court is not a trial court in that sense. So the Galamsey cases will not come to the Supreme Court. But I agree with you, the havoc being done by Galamsey, and I think that the attitude of the judiciary, where the evidence is produced and the accused persons are found for the judiciary to impose harsh sentencing. That one I agree with you entirely. Because of the environmental hazards, the damage, the destruction that are being caused to our environment, to our river bodies, to the farmlands across the country. But the Supreme Court doesn't hear the Galamsey cases as a trial court.
Well, so that's what transpired in Parliament today. We've been hearing excerpts of the appointment or the vetting of the 3 Supreme Court justice nominees. But we hear all the, funny moments about Gen Z, amongst others, that came up. But let me bring in the chairman of the Appointments Committee, who's also the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Osei-Wusu. Thank you so much for joining us here on Newsnight.
Thank you.
Mr. Sousu, so now the vetting is over. What should we expect now? I mean, the last time the judges came before you, there was a bit of back and forth. Do I assume that now there's consensus around these judges who came before you today?
Well, yeah. There is formal agreement, but subject to the report of the NIB and the police, we agreed that they are fit and proper to be appointed to sit on the Supreme Court bench.
A lot of questions were asked today. For you sitting there and listening in, some of them were very probing. What's your own assessment of what happened today and the sort of answers you got?
Well, I think we did what we were supposed to do. Many of them are sitting, if all of them are sitting justices of the appeal. They are not known to have been involved in any scandalous matters. There are no drama around any of their judgments that are known. So they are not people generally citing controversies. And so there was general agreement that subject to the NIB report and the police report, coming out clean about them, we should recommend them to the House for adoption, for recommendation as Supreme Court.
But it appears you don't have time, and Parliament rises pretty shortly. What's the next step now?
Well, we have 2 more sitting days. We have tomorrow and we have Friday. If the report is ready by tomorrow, we will lay them. And because it does not involve controversy, most likely it's taken by a voice vote. Once it is taken by a voice vote, it's a very short process.
Confident, though, that the report will be ready tomorrow?
Whatever I say is speculative. My secretariat, I'm expecting that they'll bring me the draft. I'm sitting in the office now. If they bring it here, I'll take and go through it before I go home. But I'm sure tomorrow they'll bring it, so I will go through it. And then if there are any corrections to be made, it'll be made and refer to them to accept the corrections, to file them and distribute to members.
Going into this vetting, one of the main issues that the minority had raised was their concern that the president was packing the bench at the Supreme Court. We had one of the judges today disagree with that view. Going into the sitting to finalize the report, has the minority raised this issue at all as one issue of concern to them?
No. You see, first thing is that there's no ceiling to the number of Supreme Court judges that the president can appoint. I think those who crafted the Constitution had in mind that as a country, our population will grow. There will be need to have more courts, more judges. So I'm not surprised at all. At the time we started this Constitution some 30 years ago, we appear to have agreed on some convention that Supreme Court panel should not exceed 16, including the Chief Justice. That is what the President has respected. 3, after the time he was proposing these names, 3 of them have retired. So he proposed the 3 names to replace the 3 that had retired. Subsequent to that, another one has retired. So even if all these 3 are approved, they'll come to 15, including the Chief Justice. There's still be 1 vacancy. But the truth of the matter is that 30 years ago, what was the population of the country? And what is the population today? The number of cases that are going to the courts and then riding up to the Supreme Court. Let's look at the statistics. Can we continue to hold the number at this same level? These are, I think, matters that are evolving, and we should be looking at the number of cases to determine how many judges. Some comparisons, as Judge Kofi explained today, are not based on the facts on the ground. Like he explained, the powers of the Supreme Court of the United States is totally different from ours. All the issues that come before our Supreme Court, the Supreme Court doesn't have a choice to decide whether I'll hear this or hear that. There are cases that go to the Supreme Court as of right, many of them, except the few that go to the Supreme Court with their leave or whether they're court below or the Supreme Court itself. Whereas in the US, they decide these are the cases we will take the year, and that's it. Nobody quarrels with that. And then in addition to that, each of the 50 states of the United States has its own Supreme Court. So the federal Supreme Court, which people compare with ours, is court number 51 or so. But that does only very limited cases which applies to the federation. And otherwise, each case, like in Ghana, each region will have its own Supreme Court. That's how they are the state. Each one has one high court up to the Supreme Court. And so if you compare with ours, you'll be comparing apples and oranges.
Well, thank you very much, Joseph Usu. On the subject, he says he's confident he's going to get an approval by voice vote because of the consensus and no concerns raised yet. We'll see. He has 2 more days before Parliament rises for the Christmas break. So listen to News 90's on Joy 99.7 FM.
Well, we wrap up on this with the issue about which law school year group has produced more prominent persons. That issue came up during the vetting today. First, listen to Joe Gatti on it.
Class of 65 people, 2 became Attorney General, and you are going to be the second person to become a Supreme Court judge. Now, the first I became Attorney General. Years after me, Ben Kubo became Attorney General. And Honorable Poama, whose name was also among those who were shining, we used to call him Scott J, is now in the Supreme Court, and you're also going to join. You know, I'm not a boastful type, neither am I arrogant. But I remember reading in Things Fall Apart that the lizard which fell off the high Iroko tree said he would praise himself if no one praised him. And that's why when lizards fall down, they nod their heads up and down. Please praise yourself and praise me as well. The class of 88. I challenge any other law class. I am saying without fear of contradiction that we are the best class ever in the law school. There's another one. Please, you know.
Well, Cletus Avoka had a response.
My honorable colleague, Honorable Joe Gatti, claims that he had 2 of his colleagues in the Supreme Court and 2 Attorney Generals. 1978 call. I'm 45 years at the bar. He's 35. I'm 10 years ahead of him. And we have a record. The 1978 year group have a record of more colleagues in the Supreme Court than your group. Let me mention them. Jones Doche, who has just gone on retirement. Julius Ansah, who has also gone on retirement. Professor Kote, who has gone on retirement. And then Ayiribi something. Yes. We are the champion.
Mr. Speaker, then come to Attorney General. Come to Attorney General.
There are many, all I can mention. Martin Amidu. Martin Amidu is my classmate, 1978 year call. And no, Kumboy is far away behind.
Well, but Evans, do you know what Gen Z is?
No, the judge was asked.
Yes.
Following from my senior's question on society evolving, are you familiar with the Gen Z?
The what?
Exactly. That was the point of my question. Gen Z.
I can't get the pronunciation correctly.
Gen Z.
No, I don't know what it is.
You do not know Gen Z?
I do not know.
All right, those are people born between 95 and 2010. That generation.
95
and about 2010.
Oh, okay.
We call them Gen Z. Now that's how they are called. But that's actually my point.
Honorable member.
But that's
honorable member, for our record, you have introduced a lexicon that is not known to the Queen's English, which is our. So, what did you say it was for the record? Kindly spell it.
Gen and Z. Gen Z. You can Google it.
There's no EE after it.
No.
So how does the Queen's English pronounce GENZ as Gen Z? That's not the Queen's English.
Gen and Z.
That's an English class there. And George Affe is joining us with business. George, are you a Gen Z?
No, I'm not a Generation Z person.
You are?
I'm way about that.
What do you have in the headlines?
Well, if it's coming up in business, industries, sectors, contraction slows economic growth to 2%. But the third quarter of this year, meanwhile, Agri posted the highest growth from July to September. And government is expected to halt sole sourcing of all contracts in the energy sector as part of a new agreement with the World Bank. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
It's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
"Sharp! I signed on immediately."
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
No matter your water needs, Syntex has it all. Syntex tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Syntex tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project or demand, choose Syntex tank. Syntex tank, stress-free. Syntex tank, reliable. Syntex tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough.
It's Christmas, and Orca Decor is offering 15 to 60% off everything in store. Gift your loved ones things they would actually love, like exclusive toys, furniture, decor, and more. Make Christmas merry again with up to 60% off everything at Orca Decor. Visit us at Accra Mall and Spintex Road today.
Ready to upgrade to awesome? Say hello to the new Samsung Galaxy A05, A05s, A15, and A25 5G. Unlock the magic of the awesome screen, 6.7 inches of pure delight. Available in black, light violet, light green, and silver. Your style, your choice. The awesome 15 megapixel main camera gives you breathtaking photos. Built with the 5000 mAh awesome battery, guaranteed to last long, and a 25 watts fast charger ensures you spend less time charging. Make your memories awesome with any of the new Samsung Galaxy A series range of phones. It's not just a phone, it's a lifestyle. Fall in love with Galaxy all over again.
I'm afraid! Yeah! Media Sambisanda Moa! It's your Ratiano, Moo, I panic to be fit. No Podom Pemo Maniacono. Eh, Quabna. No Moo wants to be just my memory in that day. Eh, and the crow. Cooperate to me, Podom Pemo, so you super excellent eba. I didn't buy the Braille. Who see it in a mobile, some man I want it. Sir, I need now could you soon use super excellent Chaco. Then dear, a mouse, and we are creating fit of that. Now what you ask you, my mother feel you. Hey, Kojo, sir. Yeah. Pepsodent Heba and a Pepsodent Charcoal. A failure. You're gonna natural.
FDIJ Trading Katuyatu.
The luckiest. Luck is everywhere.
for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Keep buying your luckiest ticket with star 712 hash as an individual, a group, an association, or even a community, and stand a chance of winning in the community draw or the ultimate draw on 23rd of December. Be the luckiest on star 712 hash and win millions. Ticket sale starts on October 4th, 2023, and draw date is on 23rd December 2023. Play responsibly, not for persons under 18 years. This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform. Win millions on star 712 hash.
The luckiest, you could be the luckiest.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, significant decrease in activities in the industry sector resulted in economic growth slowing in the third quarter of this year. The Ghana Statistical Service put the growth rate at 2% compared to 3.2% in the last quarter of this year. There is more in this report.
The Ghana Statistical Service data showed slowdown was again compounded by contraction of the sector, which declined by more than 8%. The Ghana Statistical Service strongly believes the contraction in the mining and the quarry sector was also a major contributing factor to the economy's performance from July to September this year. A second look at the data also revealed the 2% posted was the lowest growth since the third quarter of 2021. In the second quarter of last year, the economy grew at 2.7% compared to the growth of 2% that we had in the third quarter of 2023. But despite this challenging result for the manufacturing and industry, agri sector posted some interesting numbers with growth in that area pegged at 5.9% growth. This was influenced by significant infectives in crops and livestock. The service sector, on the other hand, grew at 5%. In terms of sectorial growth, agri posted the highest growth of 5.9%.
And that is a Business Desk report. Meanwhile, government institution Professor Samuel Kobnenim has been given more details on the sector's performance.
So the crops 7.2 growth rate was three things: cassava and yam driving the growth rate, and keeping in mind that cocoa contracted by 0.4%. The earlier question on the distinction between production and onboarding new companies, we're trying to explain the sources of either a contraction or an expansion. If there's an expansion, it's possible that the existing companies have expanded their production, or it's possible that other companies have been onboarded. What we are seeing in the industry sector in terms of contraction, we are saying is mainly due to a reduction in production levels with the existing companies that are supporting. And also keeping in mind that the mining and quarrying subsector has a component of gold as one of it, and also gold contracted in the third quarter of 2023.
Government statistician Professor Samuel Kobnenim. Let's talk about finance. And all financial institutions are required to seek Bank of Ghana's approval before outsourcing services to other entities. Now, this was captured in the draft regulatory document by the Bank of Ghana as it seeks inputs on the proposed regulation of this activity. The Bank of Ghana believes that there has been increasingly or taking this into ensure that it manages services of these operations of banks and other institutions in that space. Now, World Bank has reached an agreement with government for it to halt sole sourcing of all fresh contracts in the energy sector. Now, this is part of reforms that the World Bank is helping government to implement for the energy sector. World Bank Country Director Pierre Laporte disclosed this on PM Express Business Edition, to be aired tomorrow on Joy News at 9 p.m.
This is why we insisted, we push very hard that what is done in the past is that what can be done about it. I think there's some renegotiation of contracts going on. It's still ongoing, and I think some of them have been signed or about to be signed, hopefully, once some areas are cleared. But going forward, there will not be, if the amendment to the law and everything that we agreed in the budget support, then there will not be the kind of sole sourcing as before. But in the meantime, what can government do, which is what they're doing, talking to those these companies and try to renegotiate the terms of those contracts.
And that is the outgoing World Bank Country Director Pierre Laporte speaking on PM Express Business Edition, which will be aired on Joy News at 9 p.m. tomorrow. As he also be talking about recent judgment debts in the sector and what should government done with respect to those developments? Now, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry has trained over 1,000 small and medium-sized businesses in the various digital transformational tools. Chief Executive of Suku Technologies and Chair of the ICT Service Desk of the Chamber, Apawu, says the move is intended to boost the capacity of these firms. He spoke at the closing ceremony of the Digital Response Connecting Citizens conference.
We have had over 1,071 participants or business leaders across the country of Ghana benefited from this initiative. The idea also equipping them is also to ensure that they participate actively in taking advantage of these continental free trade agreements. You observe that most countries are gearing up to take advantage of this agreement. In fact, there's a Kenyan car battery manufacturing business who is already sending their product to Ghana under the agreement. We want to see our SMEs also selling outside Ghana under the agreement.
Apawu is Chief Executive of Suku Technologies. Now, some players in the capital market space are hopeful inflation rate reduction will help turn around their operations. It follows the significant drop in inflation over the past 3 months to hit 26.4% ending November this year. Speaking to Joy Business after the annual general meeting of unit holders for Unit Securities Unit Trust, Chairman Michael Asa-Eka said it will also help improve investments in the capital market space.
The data from the Bank of Ghana shows a downward trend in inflation, which translates to stability of incomes and possibly more disposable income in the pockets of investors. So we are expecting that this will translate into more investments in our fund, and that means that our funds will be able to grow faster. Today's AGM, we got approval to reclassify some of the assets under our management. So with this reclassification, we'll be able to improve on the liquidity of our fund and also to be able to help our fund to grow faster.
And that is the chairman of Unit Holdings, that is Unit Securities Unit Trust, that is Michael Asa-Eka. The total assets under the management of this unit ending 2022 stood at 5.57 million Ghana cedis. Now, University of Ghana Business School, as part of its efforts to contribute to the reduction of post-harvest losses, has enhanced the capacity of small farmers and businesses in the rural areas in Ghana to add value to their produce under this new project. According to the project manager for University of Ghana Business School Innovative Hub, Dr. George Champon, the trainees are expected to help address the challenges facing businesses.
We focus on 6 food-based innovations in fruit, dairy, egg, oil palm, tomatoes, and fish. And we've been able to successfully train about 360 local producers in new innovations in their areas. So when you go to Cape Coast, for instance, we've helped them have a system that can juice more and create gummies and dried fruits efficiently. Our approach is not to do a touch and go. Like you find a lot of people go and do training and they leave. We are creating what we call a community of practice because we did follow-ups. So we have students following up, supporting them where they have challenges. The students will help them resolve the challenges so that they can make progress.
And that was project manager at the University of Ghana Business School Innovation Hub, Dr. George Champo. Let's turn our attention to the stock market. And if you are a shareholder of MTN Ghana, the value of each share that you're holding today was up by 5 pesos to close at 1 Ghana cedi 40 pesos. Bank, on the other hand, was down by a peso to close at 48 pesos. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Evans and Emefa.
George, thank you very much. A few of your messages now, and this was as per explanation, then doesn't mean a lot of cases will be based on certain judges' interpretation but not the rule of law. Ajiman Joseph in Community 9 is asking that question.
We have one from Francis in Puerto Rico, Virgin Island. He says, Evans, USA has had 9 justices for centuries. Joe Ice's 350 million against 30 plus million. And US has 50 states with territories such as Puerto Rico, Virgin Island. That's from Francis sending us that one. Sena Hateka says, what minority of race today in the House is totally true. I don't know which one exactly he is talking about. But remember, Sokpo in Angloga, says Ghana has become a country where the citizens with legal birth certificates are rejected because nationality of parents are not on it. So the guarantors, the ruling government are saying to confirm the nationality of a citizen. How best do they know the person? So some of your messages that you've sent in via WhatsApp.
You're still live here on Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. The minority in Parliament, they say the Electoral Commission is acting in breach of the Constitution with its decision to ditch the use of indelible ink for public elections. The EC announced this policy shift starting with the district level election that just gone by. There is a second round Thursday, that's tomorrow, debating the budget estimate for the Electoral Commission. The Deputy Minority Whip, Ahmed Ibrahim, and MP for South Roxing Nelson Dafiamekbo argued that the decision does not lead to effective performance of the Electoral Commission and actually violates the Constitution.
The issue of the non-use of the indelible ink breaches the law. Mr. Speaker, let me refer the House to Article 51 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, with your leave, let me read. The Electoral Commission shall, by constitutional instrument, make regulations for the effective performance. Mr. Speaker, the controlling phrase there is for the effective performance of its functions under the Constitution or any other law, and in particular for the registration of voters, the conduct of public elections and referenda, including provision for voting by proxy. So, Mr. Speaker, you cannot come to Parliament with an instrument where protocols have been clearly outlined in the instrument, and you, by an administrative fiat, decide that you will go according to the protocol. Mr. Speaker, the use of indelible ink is part of the regulations that we put in the instrument for the effective performance of the Electoral Commissioner. So you cannot decide that you will not apply it. Mr. Speaker, it is for good reasons that we use, for instance, transparent ballot boxes. So can she wake up tomorrow and say that by an administrative fiat, I will no longer apply transparent ballot boxes?
Well, he's not alone. The majority leader, Osechi Mensah, also says the EC cannot eliminate the use of the indelible ink in elections in the country. He also says Parliament must fight for the financial autonomy of the Commission.
Some people got manually verified. And indeed, if we're not too sure of the synchronization of the database nationally, if that is the case, Mr. Speaker, and a person who goes to vote does not submit to the biometric verification and moves to another station where he has to also be verified manually, it may be a recipe for double voting or multiple voting. So it's important that we complement it with the indelible ink. So, Mr. Speaker, as I said, so many people have spoken to the issue, and I don't think the evidence of voting should be reduced to hearsay. One of the evidence should be your fingertip, which you might have dipped into the indelible ink. It should not rest on hearsay. Indelible ink and your fingertip should be a visible indication that you have gone to vote. Mr. Speaker, I was just looking at the Constitution, and I think that the time has come for us to really fight for the financial autonomy of the Commission. So I believe we can, Mr. Speaker, if we are so purposed and stand together, cause some financial autonomy to be granted to the Electoral Commission, and avoid the situation where we find ourselves and they come complaining that unless and until they have the additional 140 million, it's going to be difficult for them to organize this election.
Well, meanwhile, we know that the Commission has come under intense condemnation for their seemingly poor organization of Tuesday's district level and unit committee elections, which led to the postponement of the exercise in some areas in the Ashanti, Eastern and Central regions.
Well, there's round 2 tomorrow. Thankfully, we can speak to Dr. Bosman Lasari. He is a Deputy Commissioner there at the EC, joins us right now. Dr. Lasari, thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you and welcome.
So what really happened yesterday? Why the need to postpone the elections? What was the issue?
No, we have some technical challenges with some of our printers. And although we were determined to have it yesterday, we noticed that for almost about 200 electoral areas in Ashanti region and almost about 17 districts in the eastern region, the process may end up delaying. So the starting will be around, some of them 11 o'clock, some of them 10 a.m. So the commission thought that instead of delaying the process till about 11 a.m., 10 a.m., it will be appropriate to extend it or to postpone it to Thursday, which is tomorrow.
You said technical issue. What is the nature of the technical issue? They couldn't print.
You know, the printing work is this is technologically driven. So in the final moments, if you have some challenges, obviously you have some timelines to be able to move from one place to another, and you know the distance from, let's say, from Accra to Kumasi in that manner. So when you realize that you cannot meet the time, that's why the statement didn't come out the day before, but we knew everything was on track to be able to begin the process at 7 a.m. in all the electoral.
And what you say just begs the question: when did the EC realize that the technical challenge had cropped up?
Well, we noticed somewhere around, was it 2 a.m. thereabout, but we still have the assurance that we'll be able to deliver. So when we noticed that it wasn't, because the items still got to the regions, but the problem was that once you've gotten to the regional capitals, you must now move to the district capitals. And from the district capitals, you know, not all the districts are compact like the districts we have in Accra. Within some of the districts, it can take 3 hours from the district capital to another electoral area. So the commission's thinking was that why delay the voting from something which should start at 7 a.m., now starting at 11 a.m. or 12 noon. So let's have it on Thursday. And amazingly, we were able, in Ashanti region, we have almost 1,087 electoral areas, and we had the elections in over 800 of them. In Eastern region, we had it in almost half of the regions. And apart from that, of the 16 regions, the 14 regions, we had the elections. In Central region, I think only about 5 or so electoral areas. So from the viewpoint of the commission, although it was unfortunate we couldn't do it in all the electoral areas, what we did, we believe we did a good job.
The NDC issued a statement yesterday saying that the EC must take the full blame and that you messed up the process yesterday and that this was a failure. You accept that?
Oh, I think NDC is entitled to their opinion. They can say whatever they want to say, but from the viewpoint of the EC and the people who are observing the processes, I believe they will come up with a different conclusion. That may be their adroit interpretation of what transpired yesterday. And you know, Mr. Mensah, this district level election is so different from the general one we do. You know, what we are doing, we are doing elections for 12,400 different places. 12,400 different places. So you take a place like the Ashanti region, we are printing ballots for almost 2,000 different places. The electoral areas are 1,087. So in Ashanti region alone, for the assembly members, you are going to develop 1,087 different places. You go to the unit committee. Unlike the presidential election where the whole of Ghana is one constituency, parliamentary, the whole of Ghana is 275, 276 constituency. This is a so different election. So I believe we had wanted to make sure that everything will be done on the 19th. But unfortunately, we didn't get it that way.
You had a target going into the elections as it relates to turnout. Are you there? You had a target of 60%.
You know, this election is on an electoral area basis. So far, what we've told our people to give to us is we want to know the turnout in each electoral area. Then from that, they will compare that of the district and the regional level. Then we also get the national picture. You know, nationally, it's not monolithic where we can say this region's percentage will speak for that of the other region. But based on the information coming to us, in some of the electoral areas, the turnout was even more than 80% in some of the electoral areas in the country. So we are waiting when we finish tomorrow and we have all the information. we'll be able to give the good people of this country the exact turnout.
You know, it's good to talk to a former lecturer at the University of Ghana. So let me ask you, on a scale of 0 to 10, how will you score yourself?
So I think we are well within 7.5 to 8. If we have done all the other the centers in the eastern region and migrate in the Ashanti, then we will be talking about most 9.5.
You ready for tomorrow?
Oh, we are fully ready. We are fully ready.
Thank you very much. That's a former lecturer at the University of Ghana Political Science Department. In fact, he was the head of the department there, speaking to us. Now, of course, he's a deputy head at the deputy commissioner at the EC, Dr. Bosman Asari. Let's do sports now. And Mr. Kranting is here. Hello, Mr. Kranting.
Hi, Evans. Black Stars head Chris Hughton, he says European teams do not have a choice but to release their players for the AFCON. Some top teams are set to lose their superstars during the AFCON, with a number of high-profile managers already voicing out their concerns. However, Hughton believes the said clubs are aware of the risk involved in signing African players and says the best-case scenario is for clubs to form relationships with the various associations to allow them to keep hold of their star players just a bit longer.
I don't think it's a debate. It's a choice, yes. We have an African Cup of Nations in the month of January. This is when a particular team, a particular country, want their players turning up for camp. They don't have a choice. You know, I think what can happen, and what has always happened, is a relationship between clubs. And there will be some countries that will have an association with a club that maybe allows a particular player to come 2 days later than the other. And that's something that's, I think, has always been the case.
Black Stars head coach Chris Hughton speaking there, bring that into sports. Back to you guys.
You're still live here on Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM. We are partying all the way to the Joy Party in the park. And Emefa Apawu looking forward to his granddaughters and children, all new babies.
Granddaughter?
Wow.
Okay, that's good. But we are getting ready. It's just 200 CDs for a family of 6, and we can hear from Edem Naite her message on what to expect.
Oh yes, we are ready, and I am very excited that yes, come the 26th of December, we will be at the Ibri Botanical Gardens hosting over 4,000 families to the Joy FM family party in the park. Everything you can think about, from music to stage to fun activities. Our Daddy's Corner is coming back with a bang. The artists are ready. Ifia, we have Kwabna, we have Kwampa, and loads of other surprise acts. They are all ready. You know, the children love their musical chairs, they love their sack race, and all of those, we have them ready. This year we are also saying that when the families come in early in the morning, between 9 and 10 a.m., we're going to take them round the Ibri Botanical Gardens for a tour. So yes, everything that needs to be done, we have checked all the boxes, and we are just waiting for the 26th to have that big party.
Okay, so we're getting ready for this, and it's going to be happening. You don't really want to miss it, and you know how to get a ticket. Dial star 714 star 003 star 3 hash. Select party in the park. Select family park, the party in the park, and then confirm number of tickets. Wait for your prompt to make payment. I want to go over that again. Dial star 717 star 714 star 003 star 3 hash. Then you select party in the park. Confirm the number of tickets and wait for prompt to make payment. How many people are you looking forward to confirming?
Like 5 families, yeah.
Oh, 5 families.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Budgeted 1,000 CDs for that. So.
Okay. You don't want to miss it at the last time you were there?
Ibri Botanical Garden, yeah, with my family. We're all there. So we're getting ready to go. Ifia will be there, Kwabna will be there, and Kwampa will be there as well. And Evans will be rapping as well, so you need to be there.
You're really in love with this rap. You're looking forward to it. You need to pay royalties, to me. I'll do it for you.
Gamro will give you the That's how we wrap up tonight's edition of Newsnight. You will to join Strong and Sassy, Inimwa, Inimado, and the team. They are up next. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com.